Hey guys, welcome to chapter 6 of Learning 3D. We're going to start, actually this chapter we're going to talk a little bit about a maneuver that particularly myself never cared much about, and a lot of people actually hate, but I think it's essential to build up a good routine, and in fact I think it's also essential to make you a really good pilot. We're going to talk about rolling circles. Again, rolling circles are very tedious. To me, it was one of the most difficult maneuvers to learn. I don't really know why. I think it's because there's a lot going on. But basically, I'm going to kind of walk you through what you need to do to learn them. And once you master a rolling circle, whether it is forward or backwards, it's a really cool maneuver, especially if you can do it with a lot of symmetry and kind of low to the ground and stuff. So it's definitely something really cool to learn. So anyway, we're going to start by talking a little bit about the basics of what's needed to learn the rolling circle. I'm assuming that at this point you're comfortable with rolls, stationary rolls, forward rolls. So I'm going to talk a little bit about backwards rolls as well, and I'm going to talk about a few key maneuvers or practice maneuvers that you can do to make the actual rolling circle easier. But to explain the rolling circle briefly, a lot going on. Let's say that we're going to use this MCP heavily modified as to demonstrate. Let's say that you want to do a rolling circle counterclockwise with right rolling, and you are the pilot and this is your helicopter. Well, basically the first thing you do is you start traveling, develop a little bit of speed, and you start, of course, rolling. Now, in order to make a circle this way, every time you are at this angle, you have to feed back elevator on your cyclic to create this motion. Every time you are like this, you have to add forward elevator to create this motion. So basically you transition on your collective from positive to zero to negative to zero to positive collective. At the same time, you go from positive to zero collective. When you get to zero collective, you apply forward elevator, and then when you get to the inverted side, you let go of the cyclic completely and you apply negative collective. Then when you get here, you're at zero collective again and you're applying back elevator. And then when you're here, you're back on the positive side of the collective with no cyclic. So that's pretty much the motion. You can do rolling circles without touching the tail. They don't look as clean, they don't look as good. Ideally, you want to use a little bit of tail action to make the rolling circle look nice. If you don't use tail as you force the helicopter with elevator, the tail just looks like it's just not wanting to turn, and the helicopter completes the whole rolling circle, but it just doesn't look as clean. So what you do with tail is you add another variable, which makes it really, again, more difficult. And I'm going to show you how we can do them with or without tail. But basically with the tail, what you do is the same motion I explained. Right side up, you're at the positive side of the pitch on the collective. You're not applying any cyclic. As you start rotating to the right, and again, this could be left or right. I'm just using right roll as demonstration for demonstration purposes. As you apply right cyclic, you apply forward elevator, and you're at zero pitch in your collective. And then as you get to on the negative side, you let go of your collective, your cyclic correction, and you get on the negative side of the collective. And when you get on the negative side of the collective, you apply a little bit of right tail to make the tail go this way. Then you come back here, you're back on the zero collective point, you apply a little bit of back cyclic, then you get back here, you're on the right side up mode, which you're not applying any cyclic, but you're applying positive collective, and here you apply a little bit of left tail. So tail movement is basically left tail, right tail, left tail, right tail, left tail, and so on. Collective movement is positive, zero, negative, zero, positive, zero, negative, zero, positive. And then cyclic movement is forward elevator, nothing, back elevator, nothing, forward elevator, nothing, and so on. Of course, if when you get here, helicopters wanting to stop or go back, you need to use your cyclic, of course, to drop down the nose as well. So again, a lot going on. So let's fire up my Logo 600, and we'll start practicing some basic maneuvers that will open up the door for rolling circles, and then we'll get right to it. All right, here's my Logo 600. I'm going to start showing you some practice rolls and stuff, and some maneuvers that will open up the door for rolling circles. So I have it here set on my low head speed. I'm missing my my vertical fin here. I just broke it trying to load it in the car. All right, here we go. So I'm assuming that at this point you're very comfortable doing sideways rolls. I'm just going to do a sideways roll. Stationary, another one. A good practice thing to do when you're trying rolling circles, really good practice thing to do, is to try to move the helicopter right to left and left to right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rolling in the same spot I'm at, like stationary rolls. And then I'm going to find the angle of right side up or upside down, and I'm going to add forward or back elevator to move the helicopter forward or backwards. So I'm going to start rolling. So when I'm upside down, I'm going to go back elevator. When I'm right side up, I'm going to go forward elevator, and it's going to start traveling to the left very slowly. So here we go, back elevator, forward, back, forward. Now I'm going to do the opposite, back elevator here, forward here, back, and make it move right to left. This is excellent practice for rolling circles. Excellent practice. Then when I get here, stop it again. Then again, forward, back. There we go. I recommend you guys practice this in any orientation, right to left or left to right. This will teach you how to manage the cyclic as well as the collective as you do rolls. So once again, practice this, because this will teach you not only collective control but cyclic control as well. When you're ready with that and you feel comfortable, then the first step I recommend to practice a rolling circle is you actually practice 4 rolls. But what we do is we place the helicopter right about here and we do a forward roll away from us. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw like a square in the sky. So I'm going to do like forward roll. I'm going to do forward elevator here, back elevator here, forward elevator, back elevator. When you get here, you stop and you turn the tail 45 degrees. We're going to do right to left now. Forward elevator, back elevator, forward, back, and you stop. Again, 45 degree on the tail. Hold it, and then do it towards us. This way. Then turn it. And then until you reach the first point of origin. That's excellent practice. Excellent, excellent practice. So you got to be comfortable with those. The same thing with backwards. Backwards is actually cool. If you want to do backwards, you start here, you start rolling backwards. Start rolling backwards, start rolling backwards. Stop, turn the tail 45. Turn backwards that way. Stop. Stop. Those are great exercises to practice your orientation with the rolls. And remember, we're focusing at this time on right rolling, and we're focusing on counterclockwise. Why counterclockwise? Because I started here, then I traveled over here, then I traveled over here, then I traveled over here. So that's pretty much a counterclockwise motion. I'm just making it square. I'm not making it round. So once you master that, you basically are almost kind of ready to start the basics of a rolling circle. And I'm going to go ahead and get a fresh battery on this thing, and we're going to go ahead and proceed and show you that. All right, I got a fresh battery. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to do a rolling circle, but we're really not going to roll throughout the circle. We're going to do a roll, then we're going to stop rolling and kind of turn it a little bit. Then we're going to do another roll, stop, turn it, stop, rolling, turn it again, another roll, stop rolling, turn it again, another roll, and so forth. So this also helps a lot in getting used to those orientations. So here we go. It's a windy day. Rolling circles are really difficult to do when it's windy, like really, really tough. And this field is really small, so I'm gonna do stuff pretty high because I have trees about 100 yards away from me here. So if I try to do a big rolling circle low, I'm running into trees. So again, for practical purposes, we're doing counterclockwise rolling circles. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually start flying that way. And we're gonna do the circuit again. So I'm gonna do the circuit, but this time when I come in front of myself, uh-oh, we got Bert's on the other side. When I come in front of myself, I'm gonna do a right roll, like right about here. I'm gonna do one right roll. I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do another right roll here. And then I'm gonna keep going, forward flight. I'm gonna do another right roll here. I'm gonna keep going, forward flight. Do another right roll here. Keep going, forward flight. Another right roll here. I'll do it one more time. Go that way, right roll. Don't worry about corrections for elevator at this point or tail. Just do like right rolls. Here we go. Right roll on every quadrant. You're doing a right roll. Awesome. So once you do that and you're comfortable with that, then you can kind of start pushing a little bit. And let's start doing, say, 2 rolls. So I'm going to start my circuit again. Same circuit I did before. Do my circuit. And as I come right in front of me, I'm going to do 2 full rolls. And I'm not going to worry much about the elevator or the corrections. Just rolling. That's it. So I'm coming in from the left. 1, 2 rolls. Go that way. 1, 2 rolls. Go that way. 1, 2 rolls. Come this way. 1, 2 rolls. Come this way. 1, 2 rolls. This is essential practice for rolling circles. This teaches you what you need to do to keep the symmetry correct. Now, what we're gonna do now is instead of rolling in front of us at every 90-degree angle, at every 45-degree angle, we're gonna actually roll and try to turn on the roll. So basically, we're gonna start the circuit again here. Same thing we did before. But this time what we're gonna do is when we actually start rolling, we're gonna apply forward back elevator like I taught you before. So here we go. I'm gonna do it here. And then here, back elevator, forward elevator. See how it's turning? Then here, forward elevator, back elevator, forward elevator, back elevator. And then come back to the beginning. Try it again. Forward elevator, back elevator. 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 And as you can see, now the helicopter is starting to turn. It's starting to take shape. It's actually looking a lot better. I'm gonna go ahead and get yet another battery. And at this time, we're actually pretty much ready to start doing the actual rolling circles all the way from beginning to end. All right, guys, now that we've done these exercises and showed you how to practice to start to be able to do your rolling circle, we're actually gonna do the first real rolling circle. Got my logo 600 here. Got low head speed setting of about 2,000 RPM. Works great for practice, gives me a longer flight time. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and climb here, and I'm gonna do a normal forward flight circle here like I did before. Only that when I come around the full circle, I'm going to start rolling to the right, and I'm going to complete a full rolling circle. Got to watch out for those birds. So here we go. I'm going to start rolling here. And I'm not using tail at all, just cyclic and collective. And it doesn't look good at all by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like a really terrible rolling circle. But as you can see, the helicopter can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and make another turn. And I'm going to do another one. Again, I'm only using the cyclic. I'm not using the tail. Just cyclic and collective. So when the helicopter is inverted, pointing into the circle, I'm applying forward elevator. Pointing away from the circle, I'm applying back elevator. So here we go. It's also important to get a little bit of speed going for you. If you don't have speed, you don't have momentum, it makes it a lot more difficult. So again, as you come and cross yourself, you start rolling, and then forward elevator, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And that's a rolling circle. It doesn't look great because I'm not using tail. It looks pretty crappy actually. Now the reason I'm landing is because, again, I'm going to give you again a very brief explanation one more time. As I come around the circle and I'm like this, I'm pulling back elevator. And as I'm like this, I'm pulling forward elevator. So I'm forcing the helicopter to turn as I go around the rolls. Doesn't matter, you can use left roll, you can use right roll, it's really irrelevant. Now, it does it like I show you, it just doesn't do it very pretty because the tail is not being corrected. Now the next step, and this is difficult to do, but you'll kind of get a hang for this after you've done a lot of rolling circles. It'll start kind of feeling better for you. And eventually you'll notice that you're comfortable, so you'll be able to use tail. To use the tail, you only apply tail when you're right side up or upside down. So as I'm right side up, I'm going to apply a little bit of left tail. As I'm upside down, I'm going to apply a little bit of right tail. So forcing the nose of the helicopter to turn as well. So we're going to try that this time, and you're going to see how the rolling circle looks a lot better. It looks cleaner, crisper, it's just prettier. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit to the left, pick up a little bit of forward momentum, and I'm doing these high on purpose. I have trees right in front of me. I don't want to run into them. So as I cross myself, I'm going to start rolling. And now I'm going to use tail right here and right here and right here. And as you can see, the rolling circle starts looking a lot better. It looks much prettier. Why? Because I'm using tail when I'm right side up. I'm fitting tail that way. When I'm upside down, I'm fitting tail that way. So that helps the rolling circle tremendously. Let's do one more here. Now keep in mind, the tail inputs are minimum. I mean, we're talking very, very, very little tail. Just enough to keep the tail pointing towards the inside of that circle. Very little tail. So a little bit of tail here, a little bit of tail here, a little bit of tail here. Just barely, just enough to keep that helicopter pointing towards the inside of the circle. Much better like that. So I'm going to land here one last time, and then I'm going to talk about some advanced stuff. So that's the rolling circle. I did it counterclockwise with right roll. You can do it left roll, you can do it clockwise. There's so many different combinations. You will find that you learn one and you kind of don't feel comfortable doing another one. I feel pretty comfortable doing all four, backwards and forwards, but I always prefer counterclockwise. I guess it's just because it's the way I learned it. I know some people prefer clockwise. It's just whatever you do the most. It's like anything in life. You do it so many times, you get used to it and you're better at it. So backwards now. I'm not going to go over step by step because it's basically the same thing as forward. When you fly backwards, it's more important though to use the tail as you do the backwards rolling circles, because then it's going to look really, really ugly if the tail is not leading the helicopter. Forward, you can get away with no tail because naturally the helicopter is going to be pointing towards the roll and towards the turn. But backwards, you have to lead it with the tail a little bit more. So other than that, it's the same stuff. If I'm going that way and I'm doing counterclockwise and I'm backwards, when I'm like this, pushing forward elevator, when I'm like this, pushing back elevator. Always trying to turn the helicopter into the circle. So let's do a couple of backwards ones before we wrap this up here. Getting a little bit dark. So for backwards, I'm going to do counterclockwise also. I'm going to go to the left, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of backward speeds. And I'm going to use right roll. So right roll, forward elevator, back elevator, forward elevator, back elevator, forward, back. And I'm leading with the tail. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to try to do one more without stopping. So you can see my right hand, how I'm moving back and forth. Finally, when you get really comfortable with these, you can get creative and do all kinds of cool stuff. For example, there was one at XFC that was a backwards rolling circle, and then it changed. So you start it like this. Actually, it was a forward, but it's okay, we'll try this. And then you reverse the roll. And now I'm doing left roll. Now the XFC one was forward to the right, reversing to backwards to the left. It was really cool. So you came in like this, you started rolling right, and you started like the first half of your circle, forward rolling circle, and then like when you got to the middle, you changed it to backwards with left roll. And it looked like the helicopter is always rolling in the same direction, when in fact it was rolling to the right and then to the left. I'm almost out of battery. One final thing here. Another cool trick is like reversals on every roll. I started doing these recently. These are actually pretty cool. So I start a rolling circle and I go right roll, and then left roll, and then right roll, and then left roll, and then right roll, and then left roll, and then right roll, and then left roll. That's like really cool too. I mean, you can do so many different combinations, but the cool thing about the rolling circle is that if you can do it in complete control and you can do it low to the ground, it just looks awesome. I remember Jason Krause, IRCHA 2008, I believe, we were flying together and he was doing these rolling circles that were literally like, I don't know, half a foot off the ground, like on the deck, and it just looked awesome. So that's it, Rolling Circles, chapter number 6 of Learning 3D. Hope you enjoyed it.